So yeah, it's just an age-old battle between good and evil. That's why I've got my friend here. And what I'm saying is the majority of it believes in evil. But what I'm saying is, how about the shift went to good and we did the best that we can? There's always going to be dark and light. I get that. That's a duality of the universe, of the human condition, yeah? Hi there, my name is Nathan, and this is Welcome to the Human Experience. And today I'm going to talk about the shift. The shift is happening, people. In case you doubted it, in case you lost hope, you know, we all get a bit despondent sometimes. I'm the same. But ultimately, at my core, I'm an optimist. At the minute, we're all in a bit of a state of depression, anxiety, trauma, despair. But what is the opposite of that? You know, we have this popular opinion amongst academics and philosophy of this nihilism, of that there's no point, there's no meaning, etc. But then there's also this counter movement of spirituality and seeing a brighter future and saying that, yeah, energy is kind of continuous and it can't really be destroyed, yeah? So why not point that energy towards something good, towards something more positive, towards something more productive for ourselves, yeah? And one way I'll point towards the negative aspect of our energies at the minute has been mainly through the force of capitalism and religion to a certain extent. And I know people are going to be like, okay, well, these things have worked and there's proof of them working in the way, you know, the world is structured right now, that it's enabled so many things to happen. And yeah, that is true. But what has it not enabled? And I think it's a growth within us, an internal growth within, of satisfaction, of this kind of thing of success. Like, we determine what these things are. And in that capitalistic society and in that religious kind of scriptures, it's always that we are not enough. Yeah, we need to strive for more. And sometimes that we're this whole term of a born sinner. Like, why? Like, we are a product of the universe because we are the universe. We are not born of it, we are born out of it. And that to say that there's no disconnect between every element of us, even something we manufacture like a phone or a car, it's coming from the universe, because ultimately, you know, the scientists would describe this as physics, that things can only happen that are possible within our reality, yeah, within our realm that we live in. So yeah, phones seem like this magical thing that takes place, but without certain laws of physics, they would not happen. Without electricity, without gravity. These are not things we invented. These are just things that we harnessed. So anyway, the shift. Wow, the way the shift is happening, you're seeing it play out live in front of our very eyes right now. It's in politics. You know, with politics, for so many years now, if I look back to my grandparents' generation and my parents' generation, they pulled the veil over their eyes, majority of people. Yeah, not everyone. Some people could see it for what it is, but they gave this illusion of choice. Yeah, and we now know, I hope that like more so it's shifting towards the majority, know that that illusion is false. Yeah, like the leader of, let's just say in most countries, it's a red party and a blue party. That's the way they do it in politics. Yeah, there's two sides. But ultimately, the leader who is in them two sides, we know, is from a certain part of society. You know, they went to a certain school, probably private. They went to a certain university, probably an elite university. And their family is part of a certain lineage. And that goes for the blue party or the red party. So the choice is void. It's not like, I think some people think of it as an opportunity for anyone to become a leader. Yeah, but that's not the way it is right now in our political systems, generally in the West and throughout the world, really. Some are even worse, they're a dictatorship. But even when they give that illusion of a democracy, we know that it's not the truth. There's not I can't see somebody from my school that I grew up learning in becoming a leader. Like, that is not a possibility. So therefore, where's the democracy? It's not like anyone can rise and become a leader off of merit. There's a barrier, yeah? And what that barrier is, as we know, is there is gatekeepers pulling the strings behind this facade of politics, basically. And we know that, and they know that, and that's why the show keeps going on. But because we know more and more now, through the power of the internet and word of mouth and a deeper understanding, we're not going to have this anymore. And that's where the shift is coming in. You also see it in business. We don't just want corporations to have full control of what we're doing. So look at like the social media platforms, like they're dictating what we can and can't say, and that is having a pushback. You know, the whole freedom of speech aspect's coming back in. Now, before the invention of the internet, that was a thing, but it was like dictated to by the media news outlets, edited what the narrative should be. But now we have, like myself, content creators, or whatever you want to say we are, YouTubers, influencers, whatever it is. What we are is people that are bringing our truth, yeah, to the screens, to the people. And it's not that it's just our truth, it's what the word of mouth has generated. Like, I am only giving you what I've either already heard or already conversated about. So it has come from the collective, I like to call it. And therefore, I feel there's more purity in that, more truth, because it's what we're coming to without any agenda. We're not editing our thoughts. We're just saying what we think should be. Some people would call it common sense, like what things should be, how things should be. And we know we're in a system that is not perfect, but if we aim for perfection, like they say, aim high, we fall a bit short. That is a good kind of place to get to anyway. Even with, like, say, streaming platforms now, you're seeing a big movement where the corporations and the owners of the streaming platforms are realizing that these artists are saying that we hold the power. We hold the actual value because we're creating the thing that people want. And you're seeing a movement towards independence. And the way I think this mirrors the past is that there used to be people, especially here in the UK, you'd understand that there was, within the high street as such, there would be independent stalls. Yeah, grocers, butchers, shoemakers, or repairers. Every kind of business you can think of would do things, but independently. Then the corporations got involved and they controlled the high street through big supermarkets that were just controlling the market. We're getting to a point where they want us to be fully dependent. And what I'm saying now with the music industry, and even with people wanting to grow their own food, is that they want a level of independence again, whether that be through business or personal ownership. Another shift we're seeing is in spirituality. And I'm not saying this to say what is better than the other, or one is better than the other, but just naturally, it's not like this is something people are plotting to do. Spirituality is coming out over religion. Now, religion is spiritual in a way, but as we know, the main foundations of a lot of religions all around the world were put in place as a form of control. So think of religion as an earlier form of like CCTV. So nowadays, a lot of people will know that on the major junctions of roads and in town centres, there's lots of cameras in shops, and everywhere there's cameras. That is a way that they can like watch people and, like I say, if something happens, just enforce the laws on them, yeah, and control them. Now, yes, okay, some of that has a positive, but generally it's just to make sure everyone stays in line. And that's what religion was. They didn't have that technology of surveillance as such. So the way to do it was when everyone, you know, because the majority were going to worship whatever religion it was a way to indoctrinate them with certain beliefs. So religion kind of controlled by giving this hierarchy, religion and like the monarchies or the governments at the time. they would be very aligned with like giving this message to control the people. And spirituality is moving away from that. It's more free. It's more free thinking. It's more open. It can include the religions for all the good aspects, but it doesn't want to oppress people. It doesn't want to control people. It doesn't want to give people guilt for not being something or doing something. Yeah, there's not as much formal structure. So yeah, there are a few ways that the shift is happening, and naturally there's going to be some pushback. So the way you're seeing the pushback is that the big news corporations, they're trying to discount a lot of things that are happening. Yeah. So they either, completely like have a blanket ban on certain media getting in there. So we saw this with the recent conflicts in Palestine. We saw this in Ukraine, where the agenda is dictated to by the media outlet. And you can see a vast difference in media outlets with what agenda they want to push and who they're supporting. So that's giving a biased view. So they're doing it in that way, a very underhand way of manipulating the masses through the message they want to give. Another way that I see that is coming in now is we see it as people. When they speak to us about, oh, digital ID, our ears prick up and we think, wow, this sounds very controlling. And it's like, yeah, that is a pushback, because as we know, there's like an underlying trade that is going on amongst people, yeah? And that is mainly through cash, that we have a little bit of say over who we give money to for a certain service or a product, and we receive it back. And yes, the government are not going to like this, but they know it happens and they do things to avoid it themselves. But a cash system can be used to avoid tax. Everybody knows this. Now, the upper elites avoid tax anyway with offshore banking, with paying accountants to dodge taxes through loopholes. So that's their way. Yeah, there's like a two-tier system. The everyday man uses cash. The upper elites use what they know about the system. And that's another thing that we're pushing back against now as a society, that we're not having it where this vast gap of wealth, we can do this, guys. We know the shift's coming. They know the shift's coming, as in the upper elites and the super rich, that we want to claw back some of their wealth. And it's not because they don't deserve it. It's nothing to do with that. It's that it's unfair. Yeah, it's just not fair. One person does not give so much to society to warrant them, as in the 1%, having the majority of the wealth over the world. These people are contributing as well, as in the 99% or the 90%, whatever you want to call it, that are more in the lower end of the bracket. They're all contributing. So I'd like to say, like I say, with this shift that I see for the positive, is that keep pushing, because they're going to keep pushing back. And it's natural. Who would want to lose their position? If you're in a favorable position, why would you ever want to come down from that? We're all guilty of that. We all are on a certain bracket of privilege, yeah? And some is zero, obviously. And as you go up the bracket or the scale, you get more privileges, yeah? So simple things, like for some people, a holiday abroad is not even a thing. Having a car is not even a thing. But for some people, they will never own a car and they will never go on a plane abroad. Like, that's the way the world is divided so unevenly. But it's mainly from the top. And if we filter down, and this is an easy way we could eradicate billionaires, and I don't mean physically, I don't mean harming them. I mean creating policies where corporations can't just extract profits and give it to one person. Like, there has to be more of a share. So if a company made this vast wealth, okay, the owners and the shareholders will get some for investing and actually, making it their life's work and passion and pushing the thing forward, but a percentage. And then the rest is shared out with the percentage of that workforce that also helped that thing become successful. It's only fair, it's only right. Yeah. So we can make it happen. It's a simple mindset shift. And this is how I can counter that to say how easy it would be, is we created billionaires. Yeah. The gods, the earth, the universe, it did not create billionaires. We put in place certain ideologies and structures like economics that allowed it, like a class system and all this kind of thing, that allowed elite wealth, and it's just spiraling out of control. It's basically like a snowball effect. Like, you know, for the past 100 years, wealthy people have just continued to get wealthy and the gap has just got bigger. And that's the trajectory. But now we're feeling that we don't want that to continue. And they're going to feel that they want that to continue. But say a billionaire only could have 100 million. Is that going to hurt them? Can they still not do and live the life they want to live? But then if all that other wealth within that billion was shared out equally in some policy, which can happen, then we'd have a lot more equality. Yeah. And the people say, well, yeah, they're getting compensated for the hard work they did. Look, if you're that passionate about something, you're going to do it anyway. Look to the arts. There's people that create great music, great artwork, great sculptures, write great books. They don't want as compensation to become the richest person in the world. We're actually compensating the wrong kind of people, because we're kind of encouraging success and profits as the only barometer, do you know what I mean, of success. That's the only thing. If the more money it makes, the better. We know that's not the case if we look throughout history. A lot of great artists died penniless, not because their art wasn't great, mainly because the system was kind of against them, because they didn't get into, building a factory that manufactured goods. Like, that will make you money. But is that the most creative, best way that humanity can progress? The arts are important. They help us to see the world in a new way. They help to spread a message. They help to give a bit of awe. You know, when you go and see this fantastic cathedral or a great mural on the wall or some sculpture in a town centre, it's like that inspires people. Yeah, and inspiration just gives people more hope. Sometimes I feel like people are more scared of the idea of utopia. When I say to someone like, this world could be a great place, they're like, nah, this is going to shit. This is just going downhill. We're just going to probably annihilate ourselves. We're going to just blow ourselves up. That seems like the only narrative that people actually believe. But I'm saying, like, rather than a dystopian future, why is it so inconceivable that we could flip the script and create a utopian future where we never launch the missiles or the nukes and we don't have these corporations controlling the world? Because right now I feel we always feel we're at a key junction in humanity, but I think we really are, because of the trajectory of things, with pollution, with corruption, with, like I say, the wealth gap. That is going to extremes. So that's why we can see now we are at a key junction to turn things around and create more equality and a better world. You know, we're not beyond bringing back a lot of the life that we've exterminated on the planet, the animals, the insects, the plants, reversing the pollution. We have them innovations to do that, but we need to stop this whole growth mindset. Success is money, 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 profit, profit, profit. Like, you can't eat money. You can't live on money like that. Like, real tangible things is stuff like our environment. That's what we're connected to. We breathe in, we breathe out. We're a part of it. We're a part of the universe. We're a part of the earth. So I hope this has given some people some kind of belief that we can and will turn things around. Change is going to come. It's always a small group of people that then grows into more people. It's always a slow process that is gradual. But I think the wheels are already in motion for that change to happen. And just like I say, be prepared for the pushback, the manipulation, the deception. But I know for myself personally, even being a dad, I would rather an equal world for all than success for a few. That ain't it. And I would much rather than my son have to go to a museum one day to see stuffed animals that they're actually really there in the wild, and we've given them space to live, not in a zoo, not in, like I say, a museum taxidermied, but actually alive. and flourishing and allowing us to flourish because we can appreciate them and appreciate the earth and the resources that we've got. So yeah, that's all I've got time for now, guys. And I'll see you next time on Welcome to the Human Experience.